Good morning, viewers by the thousands. It's a beautiful day, and on this beautiful day, what do you say we show how to do a rinseless wash of a car? A wash that's really very simple and very basic. And what if our only tools were a garden hose and just suppose we had a little pump sprayer to spray on the rinseless wash, a towel to dry the car with, a wash mitt, or a sponge. Sponge is a great tool for rinseless wash. A bottle of Optimum No Rinse, rinseless wash, classic stuff. A bucket with a grit guard in it, and a garden hose. We could do a great rinseless wash with that. Let's talk about how. The first thing we need to do is fill our bucket with water and rinseless wash solution. This bucket is 3.5 gallons. If I fill it almost full, so it looks pretty full, it's going to have 3 gallons in it. You'll need 1.5 ounces of rinseless wash. 1, 2, 3 cupfuls will do us. Rinse out the cap. So there's our solution. And let's say that today we use our sponge, because it is a perfect tool for rinseless wash. And we'll mix up the solution with this. It does not froth and foam a lot. It's not like car wash soap that gets very sudsy. All the little cuts in the sponge, they create little gaps for the sponge to pick up dirt and grit from the car and hold it in the sponge until you put the sponge in the bucket of rinseless wash and it floods the sponge and the sponge releases all the grit, and then you squeeze out the stuff to get the sponge mostly dry, ready to go back on the paint to wash more and repeat the process. So what we're going to do first is spray rinseless wash all over the car. In order to do that, we need to fill our sprayer with rinseless wash diluted 256:1. And figuring out how to put just a few milliliters of rinseless wash in here and fill it with water, that's a pain. So we don't do that. We just use what's in our bucket already. Fill the sprayer about half full. Seal it up. And the reason you fill it only half full is you need some air in there to compress for the pump to be able to spray the solution out. So now I will cut for a minute while I pump this up about 40 or 50 strokes. When you have it pumped up enough, this little valve will hiss at you a little bit, if you can hear it. And that's telling you there's enough pressure in your pump sprayer to be able to spray out the sauce for a while. And then when it stops spraying fully, or it kind of gets weak or feeble, then you just pump it up a little bit more. Easy peasy. The pump sprayer is ready. You spray onto the whole surface of the car. Just get the car nice and wet with a mist of the rinseless water. So we're going to spray this onto the whole car, let it sit for a few minutes, then rinse it off, carry off the dirt and the grit that might be on the car, and then we'll spray this back on and use the sponge and wash the car. So we'll spray this onto the whole car, and I'll probably speed this part of the video up for you. You'll see me do it, but it'll seem really quick. So the whole car is covered in rinseless wash and a nice mist of it. It's not dripping all off the car. The car is kind of coated in the rinseless wash. And the polymers and the surfactants in that are encapsulating bits of dirt and grit and emulsifying it and kind of lifting it just microscopically off the surface, ready for it to be rinsed away, which in a minute or so we will do. So we're getting ready to rinse the car. It's a bright sunny day today, but it's also in the shade, so things are not drying very fast on the surface of the car. If it were sunny and hot, we might work a little faster at the rinsing, and when we wash the car, we might do it one small section at a time for the second pass with the rinseless wash, the sponge, and then we could dry off that little piece of the car and move on to the next piece. So they call that working panel by panel. You might put the rinseless wash back on just the hood and use the sponge to clean the hood and then dry that, and you're done. And you move on to the next part of the car. Because it's pretty shady today, I think we can probably wash the whole car at once and not have the rinseless wash dry on the car. The truth is, if it dried on the car, this stuff is so mild, it wouldn't matter. You could just wet it down and rinse it off. But there are some chemicals that detailers use on cars that you don't want it to dry on the surface. So you want to be aware of the weather you're working in. We're in the shade, it's not too hot, we've got dwell time to let the chemical do its thing, and now we'll rinse. If you have a pressure washer, you might use the pressure washer to rinse the car off, but a garden hose works fine when we're working with rinseless wash. So we need to put more rinseless wash on the car, release the pressure, open the sprayer, fill it halfway again, we'll pump it up and we'll apply the rinseless wash one more time. Okay, ready to start working with our sponge. This sponge is called the Legacy sponge. It has a red side and a black side. Functionally, they are the same. It's just two different colors. Helps you keep track of which side of the sponge you have used. And then you take the sponge back to the bucket, you dunk it, it gets rid of the dirt, traffic film, grime that has accumulated on the sponge. It all floods back into the bucket, and your sponge is clean, ready to go again. But today we're going to start with the red side of the sponge, and we work in straight lines, back and forth, moving the rinseless wash solution into the sponge, absorbing the dirt. Like so. And when we've done an area, a panel, something maybe the size of a door or half of the hood, we flip it and we use the black side. And again, working in straight lines, we absorb with the sponge the rinseless wash solution full of dirt and grime from the surface of the car. So we work our way around the car methodically, section by section. bottom area of the car tends to be the dirtiest. So as we do a section of the car, we start up nearer the top, and we work our way down with the sponge. And then we take it back to the bucket. We clean these sides again by putting it into the bucket to flood the sponge and squeeze it out. We're going to do the wheels, but we're going to do the wheels last because they are maybe the dirtiest part of the car that we're going to wash today. And rather than drag that dirt around onto any of the other parts of the car, we'll just do them last. Switching to the black side of the sponge, starting up on the car, working our way down. Like so. Then we take the sponge into the bucket, flood it, squeeze it out, and we keep going. Train your bucket to follow you around the car. You feel the slickness under the sponge as you work on the panels. And because the rinseless wash is so slick, so lubricious, the little bit that's left on the car works as a drying aid. When you bring out your drying towel, it glides over the car while it dries the car. Now you'll notice we haven't done the front of the car yet. We saved the front of the car towards the end to give the rinseless wash more time to work on dead bugs and other stuff that tends to get smushed into the front of the car. And the chemicals in the rinseless wash will soften them up and get them so they're easier to pull off the car. So now we can take our sponge and clean the grille and the headlights and the turn signals and all the other bits that love to go smashing into bugs and to get grit and grime from everybody else's tires on them. And we've done everything but the wheels. Let's do one wheel together. There are lots of harsher chemicals, stronger chemicals that people like to use to clean wheels. There are acidic wheel cleaners, there are alkaline wheel cleaners, and your wheels do pick up a lot of crud, so it can be worthwhile to invest in the brushes to clean the outside of the wheels and inside the wheel barrels up in here to get all the dirt off the paint that's on the wheels or the clear coat on the metal on the wheels. But for a maintenance wash, you can get a lot done with rinseless wash. Clean the spokes and the areas between the spokes. Work your way around the wheel methodically. Go back to your bucket frequently to rinse. And you'll notice I start towards the top of the wheel and work my way around towards the bottom so that whatever's dripping is also doing more cleaning on the way. That's looking better. I will do the other 3 wheels and then we will get to drying. So it's time to dry the car. We get our drying towel. The rinseless wash works as our drying aid because it is lubricating the surface of the car. Start at the top, work your way around. Some people like to start with the glass because, for one thing, you never worry about scratching glass. It's very hard. And if you're just using a sponge or a towel, that's pretty gentle. You're not going to scratch glass with it. But also, these microfiber drying towels tend to work a little better if they're slightly damp. So we use the water that's on the windshield to help dampen the towel. If we were doing this in brighter sun, and what we would do is wash one door and then dry that door. Wash the next door and dry that door. We work panel by panel and therefore not worry about things drying on the car. But today we're in the shade, so we were able to do the whole car and then go around and dry the whole car. Working my way around the car from the top surfaces down to the bottom surfaces. I'll point out one thing we did not do earlier. We did not wash the door jambs, and you could, with your rinseless wash sponge, just run it along the door jambs here and then dry it, and you get some of the dirt off so it doesn't get on your trousers or your socks when you're getting in and out of the car. Likewise, you could do the jam around the trunk or the hatch in the back, because that tends to also collect some dirt, and that'll keep you from getting dirt on yourself when you're loading groceries in the back of the car. Back to drying. Try not to let the towel touch the ground. So what you can do is hold one side of the towel up here like an anchor, and then move this side back and forth safely off the ground to dry the bottom of the car. We washed the car, we dried the car. We didn't use a whole lot of fancy chemicals. We had optimum no rinse, just rinseless wash, diluted in a bucket. That was our whole chemical arsenal for washing the car. We had a sponge, or we could have used a microfiber wash mitt just the same way we used a sponge. We had a sprayer that we dipped into the bucket after we made our diluted solution, and we used that to spray onto the car. We had a garden hose and a drying towel. And with that, we have a very nice clean car. We didn't scratch it up, we didn't damage it. It's kind of sparkly, works really well, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time to do. Rinseless washing is fun and simple and quick. People who enjoy detailing talk about falling down the rabbit hole, and there is a lot of stuff down at the bottom of the rabbit hole. For example, you might decide that you need not just the Costco microfiber towels, but microfiber towels that are particularly good at other tasks of working on your car. And you might need a brush for your wheels and for the tire shine, and for, this is called the Perfectly Safe brush. It's so soft it won't scratch the paint. And then behind it is a tall brush that digs into the barrels of the wheels to clean them. And you probably are going to want gloves, because some of these chemicals are pretty harsh, and a sprayer or two. And then diluted chemicals and chemicals for detail sprays and decontaminating paint and shampoos for the car. Some of them are alkaline, some of them are acidic, some of them are pH neutral. Cleaners for inside the car, and even something with which to launder all of your microfiber towels, which like to be washed on their own in the washing machine and not with any of your cotton stuff, because the microfibers pick up tremendous amounts of lint from regular clothes, and which is pesky. So we wash them in the washing machine and we dry them on low heat, but we don't dry them and wash them with other things. We wash them on their own. That is life way down the rabbit hole.